All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for all of the nice comments and the care after my accident on Friday. The second video I actually made after the accident, so I was feeling fine right away after the accident, but now I'm kind of achy a little bit, which I didn't think it was really that much of a serious accident. I don't think I was involved in any violation. Just what happened was the guy in front of me stopped short to turn. I was just before so to me, I feel like it's better to have a record of what happened because it's a hands-free device. There's nothing wrong with making videos with a hands-free device. I'm actually keeping my eyes on the road. Because I'm not looking at the phone, and so it's basically why I like to be taking videos while same thing if let's say I was in a traffic stop, even though it hasn't happened yet, but I've kind of like wanted to record traffic stops. Baruch Hashem, I haven't had too many in my life at all. Maybe in my whole life, whatever it is, not too many, and not too many tickets. My first ticket was pretty bad because I spent the night in jail, but working as a prison chaplain, it kind of gave me some experience that I could kind of relate to my parishioners, more or less. So thank you to everybody for your kind words and everything, but I'm fine, a little achy, especially waking up in the morning, stuff like that, but heading to work now. Borrowed my wife's car. Should be, God willing, hopefully everything's going to go okay today. And my dad is trying to fix, at least the lights on the back of the car, so I should be able to legally drive it and drive my car tomorrow to work and everything. Because the trunk was like smushed in, but the rest of the car is fine. Nothing really important was damaged other than lights, which is not a big deal. So thank God. The car is pretty good. My car is like an old cop car, so it's pretty solid, pretty good engine, everything. So I'm gonna keep getting oil changes and whatever. Hopefully I'll be able to hold on to that car, even if legally it was totaled, because whatever the damage, that's what the insurance, I'm gonna have to file my insurance report and whatever. But so it is what it is. So we were talking a bit about daily devotions. I think my mind might have been affected a little bit by the accident also. I've noticed I've been struggling a bit with anger, temper issues. So I have to work on that. I can't use it as a crutch or an excuse. I gotta be more mindful and more attentive, really, and it's as hard as it might be. So we spoke a little bit about the mikveh and the practice of men going to mikveh, mostly a Hasidic practice, although it's gotten more popular in other Orthodox Jewish communities. And we discussed the various reasons for it: Tfilas Ezra, Tosefes Kedusha, and the type of mikveh that could be used. Whereas for a woman or for conversion or for dishes, we are strict for a mikveh that's kosher according to every opinion, or to many opinions. It might not be every opinion, but at least that covers some various strict opinions. And when it comes to the men's mikveh, technically a swimming pool is fine, although we generally do try to design men's mikvahs to be kosher as well. In some communities, the same mikveh will be used during the daytime for men and at night for women. That's how it was when I was a Rav in Richmond, Virginia. And that's how it is. I understand Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a few other places. Other places will say that the women's mikveh they don't want men to use. For a long time, for example, Ellenville, New York, the same mikveh was used for men and women, daytime for men, night for women, and it was hostile. Ellenville, New York, the shul there had a hostile takeover by a well-known cult. It took away from an Erlich Talmid Chacham, from a big tzaddik, from Moshe Frank, who was the Rav for many, many years in Ellenville. And then the Kata Yadua, the very well-known cult from Crown Heights, came and took over the shul. And the irony is, here you had a Litvisher Rav who allowed men to use the mikveh. And then a quote-unquote Hasidic rabbi is now saying, no, men can't use the mikveh. And not only that mikveh used to be used for conversions. Same thing, this quote-unquote Hasidic rabbi is, not letting men use the mikveh, saying they can only use Shabbos morning, they have to pay $100 every week. Like something, and there are Hasidische, real Hamish Hasidische Rebbesh in Galai who live in Ellenville, who are suffering because of this cult that took over what used to be a normal Orthodox shul, and now they turned into a Chabad house. So the same thing they did in Monticello, the same thing they tried to do in Rock Hill. They weren't successful, but then they still stole away the people in Rock Hill. So it's they tried it, in Prague, but Baruch Hashem, they were able to fight it. But then another cult, the Rabbanut, took over Prague more or less. All this machlokes in the world, it's very sad. But we should try to find the Havas Yisrael and try to find the Achdus and not be doing horrible things like that, and the way that this cult they operate. And I still love the people who were trapped in this cult and who even are in leadership positions, but it doesn't change the fact that a lot of Hasidic communities are essentially cults. Essentially all the Russian Hasidic communities, the way that they look at their Rebbe, it's not a normal Jewish approach. Meaning the way the Hungarians and the Galicianos look at the Rebbe is the roof. He's just he's the chief rabbi of the community. All right, so he reads a kvittel and he makes a tish, but it's not like this cult mentality that you have with the Russian Hasidim across the board. It's not only Chabad, it's New Square, it's Karl and Stalin, all of them. And I love Karl and Stalin. Karl and Stalin are very down to earth because their Rebbe is a normal, down to earth person who encourages not only the donors from the outside to be normal, down to earth, but his rank and file Hasidim to be down to earth and normal. So it's a healthy cult. New Square, the Square Rebbe is a big tzaddik, people like him, he's very popular, but all right, it is what it is. People, and he understands, and it's all right. A little bit, I have nothing against them personally, nothing against the Square Hasidim. They're accomplishing, it's what they want, and they're happy. It's I don't forgive them the right to be in a cult, as especially they're keeping halacha. They're not hurting anybody else for the most part. If they do, whoever does should be in trouble. The difference is Chabad. They go and they take over communities. They take away jobs from Erlich people. that's the problem, with the Chabad, these, like, talking in Ellenville, or I've had it myself, so, not that I'm so airless, but that's, it's an issue, and Rabbi Frank was right to try to get the RCA to not accept Lubavitcher members. It really shouldn't, and we're lucky that there's really, in New York, we don't have Lubavitcher who join New York Board of Rabbis. It's a big chesed, which means that we don't have Lubavitcher chaplains for the most part in New York prisons and so forth, as opposed to just everywhere else with the Aleph Institute. Nothing, they do nice work, but they're too narrow-minded. They do nice work. I don't have anything against them, but I wish there was more opportunity. Other religions, they have more diversity in their prison ministries, and we only really have two really major prison ministries in America for the Jewish religion, and the one that's the most active is Aleph, and it's good that they're active and they're doing good work, but then everything is the Rebbe, and the thing is, Judaism has diversity and whatever. It's not just Lubavitch. When I came to work at my new job, someone asked me, because he thought that there's only two types of Jews. There's the Meshichis Lubavitch and the non-Meshichis Lubavitch. He asked me, am I with Rabbi Spritzer or am I with the Aleph Institute? And I was like, I'm not with either. I'm just me. I'm just Jewish. I have nothing to do with Chabad. But like there's this like mentality that's all there is. And then and the territorialism that they have. There was a Vorle Ehrliche couple from probably Chavetz Chaim, something. They also involved in doing Kiruv and so forth. And they moved into a town to do Kiruv. Wife needs to use a mikveh. This is the chutzpah of Chabad. That they'll say, the men can't use the mikveh because it's going to discourage a woman from using the mikveh. But if there's someone who's a competition with them, they won't let the woman use the mikveh. There's a story Rabbi Fishbane told me. There was a town somewhere out of town. I don't know exactly where it was, but this couple, they moved in. They were, they were involved in Kiruv, and the wife needed to use the mikveh on Shabbos. She went to the Habad mikveh. There was the only one in walking distance to where she lived. She's getting ready to use the mikveh. The mikveh lady is the Chabad shlucha, they call her. Everything has to have a different word in Chabad. Like they're a different religion, and this is not against Chabad, but this is just like showing something has to be fixed. It's musar to Chabad because I love them and because I want them to be back in Klal Yisrael to do tshuva. Basically, because this type of stuff is not normal. So the normal from Chavetz Chaim Litvische lady should go into mikveh. The Habad ladies, are you here? The shlucha, they call, or are you here on vacation? You're here for Shabbos. Says, no, we moved here. So, what are you doing? Oh, my husband and I were doing Kiruv. She said, wait a second, hold on, keep your shirt on, literally, right? I'm sorry. That's probably not right to say. It's probably not sneeze, but it's true. I gotta ask my husband if you're allowed to use this mikveh. No, you're not. You're not welcome to use this mikveh on Shabbos. So don't hand me this whole garbage that Chabad, they're caring about women using the mikveh. They care about brainwashing people to join their cult. That's what it's all about. And they don't care if you're frum or not. They care if you're worshiping the Rebbe, and if you're gonna daven to the Tilas Hashem Siddur, even if you're gonna put on Rabbeinu Tam. I saw it myself. I remember I went to a bris when I was like 14 years old. I went to a bris at a Chabad house, and this guy, regular American businessman, clean-shaven guy, he was putting on Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin, and he's like, "Yep, I drive to shul on Shabbos. I'm not Shomer Shabbos, but I put on Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin." And I was like, "Where are the?" And he knew it was wrong. He knew it was ridiculous. I'm not saying you shouldn't put on Rashi Tefillin, but you're putting on Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin already, but you're not Shomer Shabbos. Like, where? I'm not saying someone who's not Shomer Shabbos shouldn't put on Rashi Tefillin. I guess Lu Yitzur, I'm not saying they shouldn't put on Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin either, but it's just like, seriously, like, and this guy knew he was doing something ridiculous, So, I mean, there are issues with priorities. I'm not saying all Lubavitchers are into this stuff. There are Erliche Hasidish Lubavitcher Hasidim who are like old-fashioned, the way it was in the old days, probably by the Rebbe Rayatz, and they're just Hasidim of Lubavitcher Rebbe, just like they were Hasidim of the Rebbe Rayatz, but they didn't have this cult mentality, which still, I'm saying the cult mentality that Chabad takes it to the next level more than, say, Karl and Stalin or New Square or these groups that are more. All the Russian Hasidim have a certain level of this issue, but it's not like, the way, like the extreme way that it is in Chabad, and what they call Chabad today, and so whatever, it is what it is, but like, this isn't what I wanted to make the video about, but it's kind of, now I'm passing by the sign for Ellenville, and we see a town that was destroyed by Chabad. Here you had a nice, normal, Ehrliche shul, historic shul, with deep roots, normal, regular, American, Ashkenaz, Orthodox, modern Orthodox shul. And all of a sudden, it's like, now it's the Chabad house, the same thing. Landfield Avenue Synagogue. It was a normal, Nusach Ashkenaz, American, modern Orthodox shul. And the Lubavitcher came in and just turned it into a Chabad house. And they don't care, they don't have a minyan anymore. All these things that, and yet people are still like brainwashed to think, oh, this is the shul in Sullivan County, when there's nothing going on there, and it's because of Chabad. If they would have had a normal, regular YU rabbi, something like that, or maybe a Lander College rabbi, but it is what it is, So it's like my friend Ruben Levine says, the only real regular town shul left in Sullivan County is Rabbi Fishbane, and he's the one that wasn't a town shul, meaning all these town shuls became, either too yeshivish for their own good, that they alienated their modern Orthodox clientele or whatever, or they turned to Chabad houses, and the Hasidish Batei Medrash, we knew they were Hasidish Batei Medrash. They're not trying to be something that they're not, And Rabbi Fishbane Shul, Baruch Hashem, in the Kanai Horish, is Mamlich Ziliyarach Yomim B'Mamlachta Hu Vanav Achrov. He, it's a normal, even though we daven Nusach Sfard, it's a normal American shul where everybody's comfortable davening, because the Hamisha Chassidisha are comfortable davening there as well, but also people who are modern, people who are not frum, everybody is comfortable davening there, and it's a normal shul, and it's not a cult, it's not a this, it's not that, it's just a normal, good, old-fashioned American shul, like how it's supposed to be, and it's a shtibel, really, that became like a normal American shul. It's a fascinating And the thing is, these types of things happen all over. Like I spent Shabbos a few weeks ago in Manhattan Beach, Brooklyn, which I very rarely go away for Shabbos, and I saw, there in Manhattan Beach you have a Chabad house, you have like two modern Orthodox shuls, you have like a conservative shul, and you have a shtibel, and the only shul that's really functional in a normal way is the shtibel. It happens to be Nusach Ashkenaz, it happens to be Rabbi Fishbain's nephew, is the Rav there, and it's a normal shul where everybody's comfortable. Meaning the Gabbai from the conservative shul davens in the shtibel also, and yet, you have people with bekishas, you have people with, nidid yarmulkes, everybody, they daven there, because it's like a comfortable, nice, normal bis medrash, and it's a nice shul to daven in, and it's interesting, and I don't forgive the people who they like the Chabad house. I understand. It's just, and the thing is, if I'm in the middle of nowhere, I had a big havamina to go away to Boise, Idaho, because my niece is getting married. I don't know if she is or not. I don't know, whatever. And I was thinking maybe it's my wife's niece. She's not Jewish, but I do non-Jewish weddings. I haven't done one in a little while, but so I said, I'll go do the wedding, whatever. Fly out there, and of course, there's two shuls in Boise. There's a conservative shul and a Chabad house. I guess I'll go to the Chabad house. I don't know. Maybe I would go to the conservative shul. I don't know. I'm thinking of going away to Blobfest. I'm being honest, and there's a conservative shul in Phoenixville, and we're thinking we're going to stay there for Shabbos maybe. And I'm thinking Shabbos morning for Vusnisht, I'll go daven in the conservative shul, or I'll go hear Kriyas Torah in the conservative shul. I'll daven by myself and I'll listen to Kriyas Torah. The Blobfest doesn't start till the afternoon anyway, right? So in the morning I'll go to temple, listen to Kriyas Torah, go to drasha or something. Maybe they'll have me as a guest speaker. Maybe I'll let them know I'm coming if they want to have me, have to plan ahead and decide if we're doing Blobfest this year. I think we're for sure doing Blobfest. The question is, are we going to do it just Sunday, or are we going to do? We're going to go there for Shabbos, like we do for Monster Bash. So, all right, this was a ridiculous video. I'm going to post it anyway. I don't care. But thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. And now I'm going to go hop a mikveh, and then maybe after the mikveh, we'll move on a little bit. We'll go back to what we were supposed to be doing. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.